Hear about it. Talk about it now with Matt Patrick.
KTRH News Time is 7:16. You may have heard the president has released some states from No Child Left Behind.
Our kids in our schools can't be held back by inaction.
Yes. So there was some action. Joining me right now, Neil McCluskey of the Cato Institute and Texas School Board member David Bradley. Neil, David, welcome to Houston's Morning News.
Good morning.
All right.
Great to have you both with us. Let me start with David. David, why didn't we apply for this waiver, No Child Left Behind, in the state of Texas?
Well, there has been an increasing, encroaching federal oversight of public education in Texas, and the last time I read the Constitution, the federal government didn't have a role. Governor Perry and the State Board of Education have pushed back on several occasions and said, no, we're not interested in participating in federal programs. I don't think we can explain it to them anymore, nor can we help them understand that fact. So maybe it's a strategy of just flat ignoring them at this point.
And Oklahoma didn't get on board either. Neil, you have said that this is just exchanging one albatross for another.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true, and I think it's absolutely true that we are piling unconstitutional federal encroachment on education onto unconstitutional encroachment. So the Constitution gives the federal government no authority to involve itself in education governance to begin with. But what we've seen with this waiver move is that the president has just crushed or ignored the separation of powers and has said, look, Congress didn't rewrite this law as fast as I wanted, so I'm going to issue waivers, but not just waivers, but waivers that require states to make the reforms that I want, including adopting national curriculum standards. And so Texas has been kind of a leader in saying, look, you can't do this, and we're not going to follow along.
And that's what Texas does, Neil. I don't know if you knew that or not. Hey, David, does this mean that they're going to cut off any kind of federal dollars to help with education here in the state of Texas?
Well, first, the key word there is help. It's federal government. When they say they're to help you, that you ought to run in the other direction. But we've already rejected the federal dollars under the Common Core standards, which is the Obama administration's No Child Left Behind initiative. And you had 48 states that signed onto that. Texas and Alaska were the only ones that declined to even participate because you were basically asking for a few pieces of silver and then agreeing to, as you know, the Cato folks have indicated, national standards, national curriculum, national textbooks, and a national test that had not even been developed.
Well, Neil McCluskey of the Cato Institute and Texas School Board member David Bradley joining me this morning talking about the No Child Left Behind waivers. Gentlemen, when we come back, I want you to tell me what we are seeing with our kids going forward, how this will help the state of Texas by not accepting this waiver. Hey, Neil, let me ask you this. No Child Left Behind has been a miserable failure for the most part. With Texas not accepting this waiver, how do we move forward with our education? Are we still going to be bound by some of those rules?
Well, you're supposed to still be bound by them. This is the rock or hard place that the president kind of puts states in. And this is why I think you've heard not nearly as much as you should about the utter unconstitutionality of the president's move. It's that most states want to get out of this because if they don't, you are still supposed to have all kids to something called proficiency by 2014, which I don't think any state was really on a trajectory to do. The big question will be, will the federal government actually hold states to that? Ordinarily they wouldn't, but I think with this waiver move, you could see the administration, especially if it's still here in 2014,
right,
saying, look, we're going to withhold money now from these states that haven't done what we wanted them to do.
David, how are you going to approach this here in Texas?
Well, I think we're doing the best way. He has snubbed Texas on other initiatives. I mean, we couldn't even get a shuttle. We couldn't get a pipeline. We can't get any consideration. So I think, in turn, we're going to start to ignore them. Listen, we added millions to our population in this last decade. We have no state income tax. We've got a favorable business climate, and we have the uncanny ability to stand alone among all the other 50 states and tell this socialist administration, no, we're not interested in what you're trying to sell us.
David, I like the way you think. And Neil, I've always liked the way that you think. Gentlemen, thank you so much for breaking it down for us here this morning. We sure appreciate it.